Welcome back. It's time to start eyeing up Game 2. Game 1, I guess you could somewhat call a blowout, which I kind of don't like doing, if I'm completely honest with you. I wish we'd maybe seen a little bit more from Crew, considering the expectations coming in. However, that's all done, said, we can move on. We now need to look at Game 2 that we have coming up, which will be Version 1 against Crazy Raccoons, and this is where I'm going to find it really hard to manage my expectations. Version 1, a little surprised to the North American region, but now they're with a stand-in, no Whippy coming through, and that guy made a difference. His Viper work was exemplary, but it is what it is. We have to move with that. And Crazy Raccoons, I mean, what do we make of this region as a whole? There's so much to be said about these two, and it's so hard to categorize where we stand with both of them.
Yeah, I think this is probably the especially in the Game 1 action. This is going to be probably the hardest matchup to place. I mean, Version 1 effectively ran the gauntlet through the challenger stages to get here. Yes. Literally had to fight tooth and nail in every series versus some teams that I think preemptively a lot of people would have written them off against. Then to add to that, they have an emergency sub issue on top. I think Version 1 will be the team under the most pressure to deliver here at Reykjavik because they've made that dream run, right? Now they've almost kind of set that storyline in motion, and now they just kind of need to get over the final hurdle. And really, when you throw all those other kind of variables on top of then coming to LAN and it being, the synergy issues obviously are going to be apparent with somebody that was such a pivotal part of this roster. It really does beg the question, what else have they got left to give? What's left in the tank?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? And Version 1, I know if maybe you've paid attention to the North American scene, even through their previous games, in Counter-Strike, for example, they were the up-and-coming names. They were the players to watch. They were starting to bleed into those Tier 1 teams, starting to get a lot of attention through the various rosters that they'd been in. And, I was starting to get to know them a little bit through that, but made the switch into Valorant and clearly kept some of that firepower, that star ability that they'd had in previous titles. So I'm excited to see how that looks standalone, let alone against an opponent that I don't know where to put, because Munchkin to me was a super exciting player to watch over when I was watching kind of the demos back, when I was watching over the the VODs, just kind of having a look through how they play. They don't play a bad game at all. So this could be an interesting one, and I do wonder what Version 1 have done to kind of prepare for this as well.
Well, that's the other thing, right? Is how do you prepare for such an anomaly? I think when you talk about dark horses and potentially actually the term wild card is more appropriate here for Crazy Raccoons is especially from a region that very early on in Valorant's life cycle were the ones to experiment the most, right? They were the ones to get a little bit funky and throw a little flair in with these wild agent compositions that really now you come to an international LAN. And all those factors then become apparent once again. It's like, well, actually, this is a region that you'd expect to say right out of the gate, just pull something weird out and catch you off guard.
You never know. This is the one thing we're going to have to wait and see. However, we can take you through the rosters in case maybe you're not too familiar. So we'll catch you up to speed on that. But expectations, let's just kind of put it out there. I do feel as though Version 1 do have the upper hand in this, at least to my expectation. And maybe because I come in with the previous experience of them in other titles, watching their run in North America, they really got a grip on that new meta that came through almost earlier than other teams.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I think, again, like we said, in terms of expectations, this is probably the hardest series to gauge. Obviously, you say Jammy's obviously stepping in, and big shoes to fill. It goes without saying. And again, that's to address the elephant in the room, really. Like I said, there's going to be the most pressure on this roster to deliver because they had such a fantastic run that, like I said, in a number of series where we could have written them off and they kept on fighting.
Yeah, I was thoroughly impressed watching them with those post-plant setups. I love their Viper work coming out. Their Astra is great. I feel as though they're a really good team to highlight what you can do when you get time to work. I think something that Shazam said really well, especially about North America, was how that if you're one of the top tier teams, the top 3, you are constantly in games. You are constantly doing deep tournament runs, which means it's very hard to reinvent yourself, to get that time to kind of sit back and go, okay, let's catch up on that meta. Let's catch up on what we want to look like coming into this. Whereas I feel, at least with Version 1, they were able to kind of take a second or two, maybe build themselves into the qualifying tournament, and they looked fantastic doing it. I want to see if they've been able to maybe rekindle some of that with the stand-in, of course. And it's all with that caveat, is how good do they now look when it comes to playing with that stand-in? And again, I don't think it's necessarily a plug-and-play player either. That's not just straight-up firepower. That's a lot of kind of, in the lab work now having to be redone with a player.
No, no. Again, when I say big shoes to fill, it's not. I'm not talking from a a statistical standpoint. It's actually all of the things that kind of fall in place behind the agent composition. And yes, synergy is always going to be a problem when you talk about the duelist role, but really as a controller, a lot of pressure falls on the timing of executes comes down, and yes, if you are going to fall onto that reliance on a post plant setup, there's a lot of pressure on that individual.
Yeah, and I think some people who pay a lot of attention to the North American scene coming into this did put a little bit of a question mark by the firepower that this team does currently maintain. Is it going to be enough to potentially, I guess, offset maybe the big dogs? Do they have that pop-off player potential? But we don't know if Crazy Raccoons are going to be the team to even push them to that, to that mark. So again, that kind of brings it back to that. We have to really manage expectations, because game one was already the fine example of it, that it's very hard to tell. And there's the opposition in front of you. And Munchkin is the player that stood out to me watching through their games. Incredibly pivotal to their play. Definitely has that pop-up potential. I love watching them on Sky, some brilliant pop flashes. I like what they can bring. I just don't know how deep that runs and how good maybe their practice pool is.
Yeah, and again, I think they have a big opportunity to cause an upset here. Again, to really characterize this team, and again, it's good that you mentioned Munchkin, because I think he's probably one of the variables that's probably got the biggest upswing potential for Crazy Raccoons. Again, they're a team that can be very, very proactive when they want to be, and really when they can build around individual performances, that's when they can really take control of series. And again, actually on the flip side, that's just coming back to the synergy factors, right? If you've got a duelist or an individual kind of popping off and finding, multiple first bloods and ultimately capitalizing on that, it's things like the teamwork, the communication, and anticipating exactly what your teammates are going to do in certain situations that really can fall apart for you.
Yeah, and this is when, again, I'm waiting to see how regionally this looks different, stylistically how different this looks. We know that NA and EU will look towards each other as to how the meta's kind of evolving. Definitely it'll look towards LATAM, the Brazilian teams, how they're kind of playing. And again, from a region that doesn't get much attention in the FPS world, I'm curious to see how they look in comparison, what they've come up with in the meantime. So again, this is one of those, we're in a little bit of a black box when it comes to what to expect really in intangible senses. We have a little bit more of an expectation, I guess, attached to version 1, but even then, of course, with the stand-in coming through, it kind of tempers a little what we can expect. Now, map pool wise, where do we take this conversation? Because that's the next part coming up, right? Is where do you go with this? I mean, if version 1 stick to their plan, we know that they have some great maps out there. We've seen those post plants coming into effect that got them through this tournament, which definitely caused an upset through the run to this point. But Crazy Raccoons, do we say the same thing, or can we even take that into account because the opponents may not be as strong? It's super hard to kind of balance this one up.
It is, yeah, and I think I would expect version 1 to maybe lean away from some of the maps where there is more of a reliance on that Viper role and potentially, I mean, actually, across Challengers Final, Split was their most successful map, if you like. And actually, when you look back at the individual series, those are the ones that kind of turned into very much a brawl. There wasn't a lot of well choreographed executions or anything in terms of like preparation wise, but they were able to just win out in kind of a war of attrition, so to say, against some of these teams. So I would expect them to lean towards that. And in terms of the first series, actually, I think that's a big tick in the box. If they can get a map like that out of the way, then actually it might quell some of those initial concerns.
I'm glad you brought up the word brawl, because I think a lot of people, especially leading into this, looking at those initial matchups, went, okay, this one could be very brawly. This could be very, not necessarily puggy. I know everyone always associates puggy with such a negative connotation, but if you look at team characterization, it does. And I feel as though these two teams have the ability to do so. I think version 1 can lean into it, but I don't know if they want to necessarily at this point. Maybe they can try and create that structure to work around. But again, there's no point to undersell the fact that they're working with a stand-in, and it's not going to be just your fragger. It's not just your, one player that could be an easy fill. It does seem as though the players are almost ready, so we can start discussing once again how damn good this stage looks, and also that map veto coming up in a second. coming on up. Now we have to look towards Version 1 and how much have they been able to achieve in this time. New player coming through to stand in for the loss of Whippy here. And on the other side, the Crazy Raccoons, a region not known to be so prevalent in the FPS world, but maybe we can change our tune and be singing a whole new song after this one. This is going to be a hard game to predict, I do feel. People going for the maybe easier choice in their minds of Version 1, but I wouldn't put it aside from being a bit of a scrappy affair here, Hypoc.
No, I think really you got to stay open-minded to that. I think both of the teams are going to be kind of aware of that factor as well. It's not a massive amount of time, and you talk about, you know, having a short turnaround to kind of reinvent things. Really, I think Version 1 just need to lean back to kind of fundamental comfort zones.
All right, first ban coming in, going to be bind straight on out of there from V1. I'm going to see what Crazy Raccoon do here. Again, I'm not too familiar with their map pool, but it seems split. They don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, that's a big one. Again, this is one we just talked about in the kind of the build-up to this that I think actually would have played into Version 1's strengths in terms of what we've got to deal with here today. And actually, the first map selection going to come through is going to be Ascent, and V1 going to pick out defense there. Now, again, for the Crazy Raccoons, this was, across this and Icebox, their most successful map across the Challenger final stages.
Interesting, and you said Icebox, and here it is, map 2.
That's a little bit concerning initially, if I'm going to be honest. He's kind of leaning heavily towards a Crazy Raccoon favor in the map veto, at least.
Okay, and Haven as the third if required. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad you bring this up. Those maps that have come in, what, Ascent, 78% win, Icebox, 88 around that. I guess if you are going to be a Crazy Raccoons fan, you're going to be pretty happy with that veto. I mean, again, always take into account what is the quality of opponent when we consider these things. Are they all coming up against your tier 1 teams? Are they always being pressured? Or are they just quite comfy in their map selection? On the other side, Version 1, though, how do you think this fares for them now?
I think, and again, we can kind of throw expectations of Asian compositions out the window until we see it. I want to see Version 1 lean back towards more of a bread and butter composition. I mean, typically, we'd see Astro, Killjoy, Phoenix, Raze, and Sova here for Version 1, but again, that composition, like I said, there's lots of kind of, you know, micro synergies to a comp like that to really make it work, unless you're going to go just kind of all out and sit in a default and hope to find value and really find strength in that. But again, it's so hard to call with this last minute. I don't even want to say roster change. Sorry, emergency sub situation for Version 1. There's so many different dynamics to this.
Now, Ascent, I think, could be quite maybe a telling marker, maybe a good litmus test between these two teams, because I wouldn't say it's necessarily a bad map for Version 1, but it's not one of their strongest. Again, though, you've got to take into account, we know that NA has incredibly good teams, right? Like, we know that if you're playing within that top 10 on a regular basis, you don't get slouches up against you, you don't get walkthroughs, you get hard games. So, again, when you look at the win, they do get the wins, it's not against lower tier teams, it's up against some really good teams out there. So, it's sitting around that 68% for them. Again, that's rolling back a long time, but even as of late, it's been a decent map for them. A couple of good victories here. That loss against Cloud9 Blue definitely stands out to me, but
yes,
the famous, the infamous.
The ears are out.
Get your ears out for the lads.
Not sure that's how it actually goes, but
no, it is. It's exactly how it goes. But the one thing is, we love a personality, right? We had Boaster. You got to have
the cat ears
out now.
Up on stage right there. Have you got glowing cat ears up on stage?
Oh, okay. Prime Gaming Agent Select coming in hot for you. Let's have a look as to what to expect.
Now, this is interesting, and again, it shows that maybe they've kind of doubled down on this prep time, and they really want Jammies to kind of slot in and. I got to say, a fairly pivotal role, at least in this composition alone. Killjoy here on Ascent. Zelsis, again, no real surprises. Then actually Penny alongside that. Penny, obviously, ACS-wise, the top performer for Version 1 in the Challengers Finals, at least. On the side of Crazy Raccoons, I see a little bit of an adjustment here from what I was expecting, at least. No Omen, and actually the Astra coming in on Rion.
Ooh, V1 almost being in a spot of bother, but we are live into this one. It'll be V1 on the defensive side. See our Crazy Raccoons on the attacking side, and let's see what these regions look like. We know North America comes with a heavy tag of expectations, but they have to now stand up to the test. They have to deliver. And Munchkin go and walk about to mid. That's gonna be Jammy's instantly getting info. Doesn't quite find the shot he wanted to begin with. Gonna call for a rotation from that Phoenix, but now Munchkin happy to take the fight.
Oh, actually slips through. We'll find Jammy's on switch, but an awkward engagement. And I gotta say, Munchkin kind of out in no man's land taking that 1v1 and will lose it. That's gonna be the green light for the Crazy Raccoons to try and swing back towards B main here. See, Effie's just posted with the shock dart right now. That's just going to be on the. It's going to be on contact from the turret.
Go. Oh, it's good. It's really good. 3 of them looking worse for wear, just kind of falling into the hand so perfectly. Effie's putting on a show just for Jonas in that watch party. But for now, we wait patiently to see what the Crazy Raccoons can do with this. They've been given a little bit of room to work towards the side, but it's all being watched. Zelst is towards one, Effie's with another. This is looking lovely stuff. Just enough room to keep them cornered in, and 4 HP is not much to play with, and V1 with a great start.
Yeah, very, very strong start, actually, and it's the discipline that stands out there. Again, a little bit of a weird engagement between Jammies and Munchkin, but that whole time, Effie's just got the confidence to just sit there with the shock dart pulled. And that's a nice little setup there on the back of the turret contact in B main.
It's really
Doing
nice.
just about enough damage to chip away. Yeah, again, even if it's, 20 HP across two players, and a pistol round in particular,
it's a pistol.
that
It makes a big
damage
difference.
adds up. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's sick. Well, bits like that will always make me happy, but V1 with a good start might shake off some of the nerves that could potentially be there. A good beginning can help you build, but start, see how this goes on. You can see the ideas are there. V1 are setting traps everywhere, these small little set pieces just to be kept in mind, and aggression out of nowhere. Neff's now going to be in trouble. He's got to fall back away from this, the turret, trying to keep him safe, but Jammy's unafraid, happy to post up here.
Again, even the trade back and forth will give V1 the initial control. Medusa actually going to send a few shots through. The turret's still in spot as well, but Crazy Raccoons still want to kind of tassel with V1 here, as the alarm bot in mid going to pull them back off main for the time being. Vanity still posted with that judge. That's it. Yeah, Penny drifted all the way out through. No. Munchkin might actually be able to chase this down here.
He's trying. Run as you might. Doesn't quite get there in time, but he's going to maybe lean towards the side. You can see Astra trying to pick up the slack here, try and give themselves a little bit of respite if needed. Penny at the back of side going to have to just keep his head down for now. They've made it a little dangerous, but it's still just pistols. No armor to supplement. No spike to be planted here. You can see the judge and just rattling off the shots. And now just Neff left alive in a 1v4. Nah, not going to get it. 4 standing. Gorgeous work from V1. I like the aggression. They didn't get punished for it either.
Again, these little set pieces in the early round here is, again, probably the biggest opportunity for V1 to make things as easy as possible for them.
1 enemy remaining.
Let's see. Bringing through 4 weapons here. I'm anticipating exactly the same thing once again for them to try and maintain this pace early on. Maybe get some momentum built in terms of the economy.
See how this one goes on the bonus now for V1. First real test for them as the Crazy Raccoons do come back in with that full purchase at least. But it doesn't look like the aggression stopping. Look at this extremity control coming out from V1, pushing out towards that B side of things, getting a little bit of deeper utility put down. Not unnoted potentially, but still happy to do this. And Vanity right on the cusp of something here. Munchkin on the other side. Out-timed, outdone. Munchkin takes advantage as much as you want. The man's just got the shot done. So now already a little bit of an avenue open towards short. Oh, and I love the fact they're actually falling away from this. This is fantastic in my eyes. They draw the rotation towards short. They get that first pick. They fall away. I quite like that. Now they're double dipping back towards this, however. Penny now going to be fully aware. Already those Zephyr towards the site. Going to take control, and good site take thus far. No real problems yet. Zephyr's still going to be trying to make sure there's no dangers lurking around any of these corners and wait for that spike to cross, and it looks as though it is towards the back of site. help aren't going to come through, and now it's
seconds left.
damage / retake time to what VE1 can really do with this. Penny still keeping control of Heaven at the very least is decent. You can see the deep play coming out as well from, I believe that's Medusa on the back, just making sure no flank could come through. So the only threat's really going to be Short and Heaven. Zephyr happy to take this fight, spots out one. No real problems just yet. They just bide the time. Neff's going to be trying to sit this one out. And yeah, it looks like V1 are trying to weigh up their options. Any damage to be done could be fantastic here. If they can cost them those rifles, they can maybe build from this short piece. There was a second where Jammies could have maybe converted, and there it is. Zelstis and Penny out of nowhere double down. Zelstis finds another, and Effie's finds some fantastic work. Now the time's not going to be there, but the damage is done. Now can they get the rifles away in time? That's a big question. You can see Medusa waiting and at least punish Effie's. There we go, keeps that one away, but one rifle taken back for Zelstis. And it seems like the Marshal will be maintained too. At 2-1, Zelstis off to a good start. And do you know what, the one thing I've got to say, look, North America, I know like we're doing the whole like banter thing, we don't like each other apparently, but I'm so glad to still see Phoenix being run so often out there. I was so happy when Scream picked it up, so I'm glad to be seeing a bit of Phoenix coming through this early on. I don't get to see it much in EU, but always love a bit of it. So, as said, for now, 2-1. This is the real deal. This is the big boy that comes out. Now, yes, we do have that leftover Marshal for Vanity. If he gets the tags, I'm not too fussed, and he looks to be proactive with it as well. Trying to spot towards mid. So we do once again see the similar approach from the Crazy Raccoons, taking control, trying to build through, clear towards B, while the rest hold pretty deep back at this point. Keep your eye on the spike. They have no intention of going anywhere fast.
Need that back.
And Munchkin showing presence, trying to keep maybe the attention drawn. You can see Penny starting to get a little curious towards middle. Now these rotations could be punished if they do get caught off, if they overcommit to this.
Pulling them in.
Patience being shown by the Crazy Raccoons here. And Vanity still waiting for that chance. And there's the first opportunity.
Taking that back.
Don't quite get what he wants, but it does encourage Penny on the swing. That's a lovely little set piece towards middle again. Zephyr trying to get the trade out, but Penny's already dipped. Looks like the side hit's going to be coming in pretty soon. Already Ryan going to be setting that one up. Trying to pull all that utility in the right place. Zephyr going to be leading the way through here already, though. Version1 have players on site. You can see up above, Zephyr needed that to land. That could have been a huge claim on towards it. And now here comes the re-aggress. Off the back of the flash, Medusa, though, does find Zelstis. Penny on the trade out. Medusa still on the side trying to play it safe, but Penny is causing problems. And huge work from V1 playing back in from Heaven. You may have noticed Hypoc is just fixing things up, alright? Don't worry about it. He'll be back. He'll be back. You just get to chill out with me for a while. It's all gravy. But for North America, I'm sure you guys will be happy with this performance thus far, at least as a beginning. Seeing Zelstis and Penny doing well. I love that little swing in middle off that contact on towards short. There's the swing from Penny. Just these small set plays. They're really nice combinations between each other, just pulling attention in any which way. And Penny doing very well. So at this point, making it through that first buy round that was a kind of integral one. And now, of course, you can see the economy has been put back in the bin for the Crazy Raccoons, but a very patient beginning from them. I have to wait and see if they've got anything in store on these maybe unique rounds, if they have some ideas, some light armor invested too. It does seem as though maybe we'll have Hypoc back with me soon. And Zephyr starting to make some progress up mid. And you can see the handiwork of not only Jammies, but our main man Yeti there. Maybe it was Prius, maybe it was Sapphire, who knows? Maybe I'm giving too much credit, but we do love observers here. And it looks like it's go time. Already gonna head on straight through, but Jammies quickly claims it. It does go for a 1-for-1, but that's not bad. Zelstis gonna buy the time. Pop down the molly, swing on the flash as well. Effie's right by his side. Look at this. I love the fact they fight together and Zelstis isolating Zephyr. And now Vanity wants in. They've been called over. Look at this work from V1. This is brilliant team play between each other.
Beautiful to watch, actually, Lauren. I have joined you back now. And actually, in a perfect round to see it as well.
Yeah, enjoy.
Rion, last man standing, Sheriff in hand. Again, just going to look to do a little damage here. Spike, unretrievable. Well, you can actually isolate Vanity up in heaven. He's the lowest at 5 HP, but looking as if it might actually be Penny here in a minute. It will be. Lands the headshot. We'll find the first. Sue doesn't find the second, though. Zelstis is third on the round there. And V1 cleaning that one up with ease.
And keep in mind, Zelsys has LAN experience. You know, if you're not too familiar with some of these players, even if you're a fan of North America, some of these players, maybe you didn't know, maybe you're of the Shroud era, right? I get you. We were all a big fan of it. Don't get me wrong. we're all aboard the Skadoodle Shroud, and, you know, all that era. But some of these young guns from NA are phenomenal to watch, and I'm glad Zelsys is already having a really good performance. To keep your eyes on someone like him, he's definitely a player to watch for me now after seeing the work he's been putting in early. Same with Penny, already looking really solid. But it looks like timeout has come in. Curious who that might be from. Because at this point I doubt V1's calling it, so maybe the Crazy Raccoons with an early one.
Well, I think you make a good point as well. You know, a couple of players from V1 coming online individually is going to relieve, or at least alleviate, a lot of that pressure for them to deliver, especially in this game one. Really, an opportunity for V1 to find their footing, I guess, in a different setting. Yeah, scrims are one thing, and kind of getting through those synergy issues, but bringing it to a live match itself is definitely a big positive for a few individuals to step up on the side of version 1.
Yep, for now. I think we just constantly, it's just that wait and see, right? Like, I'm hoping, and maybe this is my bias, right? Finally showing, like, I'll actually be a biased caster, but I kind of want to see more from Crazy Raccoons, to see a region that's maybe not deemed to be like an FPS heavy region necessarily do really well. Now, that's no discredit to V1. Like, obviously I expect NA to do well. Have you not noticed that I've literally done none of these predictions? Because I honestly think NA and EU are neck and neck at this point. Like, I can't go against my own region because I'll just be murdered, but...
What do you think I avoided them?
Yeah, you're good with the big brain ones, dude. I'm just sat here quietly going, yes, enjoy all those hype trailers, guys. Sure. But it does seem as though there's a little bit of a tech timeout coming in. But it does give us time just to kind of, you know, have a little nonsense conversation. But again, I do want to see another region elevate. I think, especially during the EMEA qualifiers, we saw the CIS region look scary as anything. I think everyone knows about Gambit, at least in Scrimbucks, but they are incredible. They're a very good team. The Turkish teams, we already know the Turkish player base is incredibly individually skilled. We're waiting for that God team to come out. I want to see a couple of other regions find their teams, and I really hope it's through this tournament, and I expect it to be NA and EU towards the finals, genuinely. But I would love to see another region just surprise me, just really come out and do something that really catches off guard. But it does seem as though the tech timeout has been resolved, so all gravy. Let's get back into it.
About there. That'll work.
So that same set piece you've come to expect now. And I love the fact that technically, if they do go for it, if they opt to go for it, like let's say 3 rounds, 4 rounds, they set the precedent they can't get away from it, but it looks like a contact piece up short here, Hypok. Hypok has just vanished on me. He's left me alone. It's fine. Who needs friends anyway? But I've got a damn good game. And Munchkin, look, this was the guy that I was highlighting at the start to be one to potentially watch. Does at least find one on Zelsys, but an instantaneous trade comes back out, so V1 do keep the numbers for now. A 4v4 will ensue, and I wonder where they take this advantage. Traditionally, you'd argue if the attacking side is on an even number, like a 4v4, they will at least hold the advantage towards a site, but it will be down to the likes of Effie's, who's kind of... He was sitting pretty deep towards that B side, but reaggressing slightly here. I'm wondering if he's looking for information on this, and he might get a little bit more than he'd want to, but yeah, it can be a burst piece from at least 3 of the players now coming through. Zephyr's going to be the one kind of at the forefront of this, going to lead the way in. Effie's playing a little deeper on the site. Spam does connect a touch, but the site will go towards the Crazy Raccoons for now. Unless Penny can grab a quick kill on the way, but no, the spike's already on the site, so this should be a post plant. Unless anything can disrupt it, I don't think anything can. And V1, first time we get to really see a fully fledged retake coming through. Zephyr already going to start this one out, going to spot the play coming back on through, but Penny, way too quick. Just absolutely eviscerates Zephyr, now gonna look for more. He keeps going! Penny is on a tear right now, and he knows where the next target's gonna be! And he is unstoppable in this! Penny with an incredible playback through. He's got teammates beside him, but he didn't even need them. And V1 pulling off a absolutely formidable retake.
Bomb grenade out.
genuinely thought that was going to be the first time we really saw the Crazy Raccoons take part in this. Take a piece of this. But I could watch this all day. Give me this replay right now. The first, I'm like, yeah, that's not bad. What? Why can't my Jets do this in my games? Gimme Penny, dude. This guy is absolutely sick. And again, yes, Hypoc has ditched me, but I get Penny doing that, so it's just fine. And what this does is put Crazy Raccoon's money back in the bin. They are struggling for a way forward at the moment. Maybe this will turn into another scenario we saw in the previous. Have to see if these gun rounds ever sit favorably with maybe the regions we're waiting to see if anything can come from.
There.
And Vanity on the other side. Let's see what he does here. He's got support. Penny's already found Medusa. This again, as soon as there's contact, I love the fact that V1 swing. There's no baiting. There's no just, oh, you take the fight. There's always another layer. There's always that next face coming out. This is just brilliance from V1. They look solid. Absolutely solid.
I mean, at this rate, any more drops, and I think the map will be over before I can even get back in, Lauren.
That made me laugh, all right? Like, I've got to be serious, okay?
Hey,
Get some analysis in while you can before your internet dies again. Quickly.
a short, snappy piece, right? Well, it's 6-1. There you go.
Nice, thank you. You've really helped me with that.
Short and sweet. Short and sweet.
Don't need to talk about Mitch Man already. 6-1, opts out for Penny. Come on, Penny, yes. Bring me the money. He's gonna double dip. The man's feeling it. He's feeling confident. Falls away, though, eventually. Gives up middle control. First time we've seen, I guess, the Crazy Raccoons take that, not necessarily for free, but they have taken it without a loss of life.
And that's it here. See Penny gonna, after showing early presence on short with the operator here, gonna drift back. Maybe actually try and pick up one of these players. Actually, Medusa got caught off guard there, but now actually with the cloud burst, Zephyr's position will be revealed, at least noted he's come deep enough towards Pizza. And Penny once again could reset and play even deeper this time around. Zelsys now going to swing on, spy out Munchkin on short. Also hot hands and the gravity well combo, but not going to get any damage done there. There's Raccoon's opportunity to reset. You can see the spike making his way back through spawn now, Lauren, and actually Neth creeping towards B main alongside Munchkin, actually.
Yeah, off the back of that control that's going to be garnered by Zephyr coming through market. Going to be a bit of a surprise, and tag's not enough. That's going to encourage the swing from Jammies, who's going to stay alive, and this one swings out again, catching even more. Jammies with great work here, biding time and bringing this back to maybe manageable situation. Was at least Munchkin finding Penny there. Kind of surprising, but Munchkin now ult out, needs to kind of find place for this. Does want to clear the back of Boathouse, but decides to go for it himself. Might just send that through towards CT. Spike does need to be planted.
10 seconds
It goes
left.
down. Now, 2v3. No Penny on the retake, but still Zelsys, Effie's, and Vanity still have utility too, as they're finding out. Nothing feels safe here. Zelsys already going to lead the way in. Effie's holding that swing as well.
Player standing.
There it is, just down to Munchkin. A 1v2 required. Take a little bit of damage on that. The tag comes in. Incy deals with Zelsys. Maybe there's still some hope here. Munchkin on the reload, though, has to dip around, bite the time. Trying to play it on the clock. He gets the tag, not the frag. Dips back in. And Munchkin brings some pride for the Crazy Raccoons.
Beautifully played. Again, this is the sort of round I was talking about in the pre-game, was really relying on a player like Munchkin to step up and pop off and close out some of these rounds that you got to argue that they should be winning, right? But Munchkin plays this beautifully. It's one by one. Paint Shell has there enough time to take this clean repeat, actually. Right here, I thought he was actually going to get the tap onto the Phoenix reset as well.
Six to 2 now. Alarmbot's hanging out together. And Penny, similar positioning before, but actually committing on this one. Gonna push through as well.
Ooh.
And here comes the info. If anything, maybe solidifying what Penny saw earlier on. Doesn't maintain the position to catch the cross, and Effie's, yeah, can double down that this is definitely looking like a B piece.
Actually, this is tricky here. Munchkin actually almost catching Jammies off, and he will do on lane. With a three-man stack over towards A. Effie's got to respect this for the time being. Send out a shock dart or two, maybe try and find a A little bit of chip damage before this retake comes through.
Hello.
Fantastic opening there from Zephyr with the Blade Storm.
Yeah, it must be nice. We'll take him. Munchkin a little low, but that's just fine. This retake's not looking likely, and that op in hand might make this a bit too costly. I'm seeing Penny already backing out of this one. So this might be a bit of a save on this for now. Trying to play it back in, sure they could, but Penny wants to keep that op up, and I'm not sure what the money's like at this point, but I'm sure it's going to be at least kept somewhat humble, because I think you had to rebuy this, so... Yeah, I think this one's going to be a bit of a save on this.
Well, there's any further damage that can be done. Penny going to pluck Zephyr in the air, and the rest of Crazy Raccoons. I mean, yeah, still 6-3 the scoreline now. Want to build up a little bit of a buffer on their economy at least, and likewise on V1. Don't want to throw too much away in terms of their financial position either. Penny already up to 13-3. Just a quick point to make as well, though. And again, as soon as that pressure comes through in the early round, Rion actually drifts away from top mid. Now, if Penny plays a few more rounds on short, very, very deep, and goes hunting, he can find a lot of space.
Yes.
I mean, in the previous round, he sent one shot out and rotated, but the opportunity's there if he can identify it.
Let's see what he does with this one, though. He's going to have at least Zelsis by his side and the Aldrone, so they've really committed in towards holding the main approach rather than the mid, maybe the mid flank that they could have exploited. So this looks like to be their answer. You can see the turret going to be dealt with. And maybe just post... I mean, do you want to just post Penny up, or maybe you want to be more proactive? Of course, once that main gets taken, mid's now open. They're going to hear the op go, so they now know that short is slightly lighter of a player, because that's where generally Penny's been posted.
And this is interesting, actually, because Effie's is coming up to pick up the slack in mid from spawn. You can see Medusa and Zephyr once again pushing towards market, and actually going to drift back onto short here. Now, Gammy's got it all to do, to be honest with you, and his utility's burnt up pretty early on, so he's not got a lot to stop this.
No. Zephyr going to try and lead the way for his side, and site's seemingly clear at this point, yeah. Spike gone through, going to be a nice plant, and Crazy Raccoons have bounded back, I've got to say it. They've started to actually find some good side takes. They've been able to kind of not overly commit towards some of these pieces, but it's retake time for V1. They did do well before in these, but they need to clear short pretty deep to get past this safely. You're going to have the Killjoy ult invested, and Zephyr's still happy to just try and dodge bullets, going full Neo mode here. He's not unchecked, but that's going to be a huge pick. Yeah, Zephyr gets it for free, tries to dip back around. Effie's punishes from short, but by now there's a trade out. That deep hold from short we were talking about is going to be hard to clear, and it was. Medusa going to play towards hell, and there's no way out of this. Suddenly, the Crazy Raccoons have worked it out.
Yeah, that was a fantastic setup in the post line. You said Munchkin playing so deep. I mean, in that scenario with the clock ticking down, it takes so much to dig him out of that position that really I think it's just a single glance from two members of version 1. Not even a full clearance there, and Munchkin absolutely punishes them for it. The timing so unfortunate there for, was it Zephyr in heaven that caught Vanity?
Mm-hmm.
Just as that smoke drops. And again, still got that dash, so he gets away scot-free with it.
I'm glad to see them pull the timeout here as well for V1. And it's not many rounds to play with, of course, but it's enough that you don't want to be messing around with this. Absolutely love this replay. I love the way we go to 100% digital vibrance. Like, this is a gamer screen right here. You know when you're like, you're actually watching someone.
Stretched res, 100% vibrance.
You gotta love it. But I'm glad to see a timeout from V1, because you don't want to get run over here. You'd like to close out, because again, the answer that Crazy Raccoons have found is now been able to be replicated. It's not just a one-off. These side takes have been good, and it feels like they've been able to play around Penny's kind of impact. He's not been able to be in the right place at the right time. The retakes have been read well. They haven't been able to deal with these side takes.
No, they haven't. I think actually, you're right. At this point, you want to kind of stop the bleeding, so to say, because a couple of these rounds really, Crazy Raccoons have done a really, really good job in the early round of at least taking some of the tools away from version 1. And some of that stall. Or actually, when it comes towards the mid round, things like Medusa and Zephyr exploring very deep towards market, and it's making version 1 re-explore all of this kind of close territory towards, I mean, both sites really, and mid. The Crazy Raccoons are able to then just kind of slip through completely uncontested. Like I said, right there, Jammy's, so much of his utilities burn up early to kind of stop, you know, maybe just an initial dry peek up onto tree. But then when they can stack behind that, I mean, that information gets relayed, they can stack up behind, and 3 or 4 players come through. There's no logic to Jammy's then kind of re-peeking that.
When you think it's a zoom on the coach, but really it's a Red Bull fridge. But at this point, I mean, it's a long tactical if it is. But maybe it's just getting back underway. I feel as though if it's not starting up soon... No, it is. There we go. We're fine. But I want to see what V1 do now. Like, I want to see what their answer is, because they did post up Penny towards main, and it looks like they're going to go for it again, potentially. But I still, it feels like try to get Penny in the right place at the right time here.
Yeah, it is. But, I mean, credit where credit's due. Crazy Raccoon seem to have found an answer, at least, to find some success, and consistent success, because it's kind of repeating the same process once again. It's the early default, and then finding a gap and leaning heavily towards it. I think you're right, though. A lot of version 1 success right now relies on Penny finding an opener. That was close. I don't know if Neff had any idea just how close it was. Luckily, he was posted up still watching this, but now I'm going to put the turret down. And
but I love this counter utility just to make it really uncomfortable for Penny. I mean, we talk about this when it comes to other maps like, you know, shower control and the kind of back and forth of utility use. I love the fact we're seeing it here. It's kind of really keeping Penny working for it. And you saw the impact he had when he got given freedom, but for now they are going to go back towards that lean towards A. Bit of a good spam actually comes out and catches Medusa in a big way, down to, what, no HP? Yeah, a couple of the other players are pretty low on the other side. Vanity and Zels is going to take a little bit of a hit off the back of that, but by now already the spike's down again.
Well, Jammies will find Medusa actually trying to, I guess, reset from that. Now Munchkin's got to get away from this spot, but he will do. He'll find a headshot as well. Effie's with the shock dart also.
Yeah, but this is still game on. Neff, what can you do with this? No! Just darted across from short, may have been able to get in there in time, but caught in the end by Vanity, pulling off this play back in. But I've got to say it, Munchkin is just snappy, dude. That guy has got some aim, but this was actually a retake that they made work for themselves here on V1.
Last round.
Good utility issue as well. Effie's kind of digging one player out of a really awkward spot with that shock dart. Actually, I think it was intended for Munchkin, and it got somebody else, I'm pretty sure. Not sure who it ended up being, but there you can see. Oh, it was Munchkin, actually. Sorry. Well, it actually ended up being a second player, but I guess Munchkin was low enough to be the one to fall to it. Here comes this Crazy Raccoons, actually. 4 ultimates on the board, everything except the Bladestorm Zephyr, so lots at their disposal to get something working.
You should run.
Info now truly garnered. Ryan gonna try and get the punish. Does get the tag, not the frag. Real close though. Real close. Now the sight hit's not come through just yet. Vanity gonna have to back away, respect this for now. Zephyr though gonna start building through, clear the utility. But that's gonna allow Penny a nice little grab towards net. That's gonna be a big pickup on the way in. Spike is down, but the post plants are nowhere near as safe. They do not have short control. Now they do. Ryan does well. Zelsis needs to clear this. The flash is good, and so is the frag to follow. And now they get the play towards the site.
They do now. A man advantage for them. Zelsis also ultimate available. He's actually gonna pop that, come through, try and clear through, and he actually will find Zephyr behind Jen.
Medusa still on the site though. Didn't pretty. Does have ult around as well. Opts to not use it, just the gun at his side. And Munchkin trying to play the time, trying not to give it away. Medusa's
gonna reset here.
I love this. I love the long play around here. Yeah, there's the ult gonna be popped. There's nothing they can do on this. They have to try and push it. He's even predicting it. Medusa knows what's up, sends one just in time, and they do clear it, but not in time for V1.
Really, really good readjustment there, actually, from Medusa. As soon as it
Switching sides.
comes up, he's able to peel away far enough, play from a deeper position and make use of that Hunter's Fury. Effie's frantically trying to chase him down with the Odin, but at that point, round all but concludes.
Reloading. Stay down. One enemy remaining.
And V1, by hook or by crook, have done well enough to stabilize towards the end of that. You could see the Crazy Raccoons were finding room. Like, not a lot, but there was room. They've been getting the spike plants, beginning into these post plants. I'm glad that V1 decided to speed up the kind of play back in through short, taking that control a little bit quicker, but still, we are going to be heading in towards...
Something.
Maybe not the second half yet. Like,
Heading
look,
back in towards something, yes.
Yeah, like, look, British
It's not my
education
fault this time.
system is poor,
Not my
but I
fault this
can realize that one is not meant to be where that ends. So we'll have to
Fair.
wait and see what the updates are on this one. Maybe just gonna wait this out for a second or two. Hopefully everything's sorted. Yeah, we looking like we're going into the second half now. 5-7. The UI has caught up. Nice work, Hud. Shout out to you. And any interesting purchases coming through, any raid bosses? I'm waiting to see like the, you know, the Yampy like frenzy with white armor or anything like that. But for now, it looks pretty normal.
See, actually 3 frenzies on the side. Version 1 at least, and you're on the side of Crazy Raccoons and the Ghost on Zephyr, so expect him to try and play a little distant here and make use of the range. Is V1 going to be given a lot of space in B main here? Again, a turret inside, or just inside spawn. The only thing to really spot out this push should it come through. Will get spotted on the owl drone as well, but it's going to be pretty easily dealt with off the rip. Actually, yeah, you can see Version 1 is like, surely somebody's playing lane or site.
Yeah, maybe getting more than they expected, but as much as all there's noise and ruckus, it just sounds like peacocking. That's gonna be a spike plant and no harm done, but already gonna take a little bit of space back in. Vanity trying to play this just right, does get caught by that though. Damage now done and position now noted. You have to clear this position. It could be such a problem playing towards that retake, but actually Medusa with a great little pickup. They need more. Trades coming back in and forth. It's gonna be just down to Effie's in the 1v3. Trying to get the timing right. No, not gonna happen. This is danger now. This is dangerous territory. Winning this pistol, probably gonna convert the next. I mean, probably. Puts them right back on level pegging. This is gonna be the Crazy Raccoons putting now North America's representative, the second to qualify through, into a spot of bother.
To bring this to just one round, I mean, Penny having a fantastic performance there, 16 and 5, but again, not reflected in the overall round score. And this could get
Up I go.
a little tricky here. And again, coming back to some of the discussions we were having before this game went live, in terms of like executions and things like that, that's really where the biggest question comes out. Yes, V1 looked very comfortable on defense, but some of those synergy issues might become more and more apparent on attack if they really get pushed.
Zephyr trying to play at the back of sight here.
Lots of damage done,
needs-
actually.
Yeah, he does need some support though. That's dangerous. That's a lot of faith that that smoke would be there in time, but he does get to back away now, feel a little bit more comfortable. 41 HP ain't much to play with, but it's at least dealt with the initial intention from V1.
And actually, lots drawn out in terms of utility. Nami's in a position to greet any, I guess, aggression on the other side of the map, should it come through. But Neth just going to be playing behind his utility. Also got Medusa there to back him up.
Bear in mind, V1 have put a fair amount of investment behind this round. They've got the armor, they've got some upgraded weaponry. They've not come into this completely lightly. So, again, already being kind of pushed around a little here is far from ideal for them. Medusa kind of patrolling towards mid a touch, but maybe not expecting
is
this
dangerous.
much. Yeah, V1's about to slice
30
right
seconds
between them here. Medusa more focused towards the site itself. Turns around. Now the timing's everything.
the
Nice
timing's
burst.
perfect.
That's so well done by V1. Just completely isolates the player. Now it's the rep towards the site. Zephyr, desperate for connection, does find it on Zelsis. But quickly, what?
Wait, what?
Vanity? Vanity died there. There is no way. What has just happened? FBs is now in a 1v4, and I have no idea how this has gone wrong. I was so expectant of V1 to convert off the back of that lovely pinch, but this is all gone to nothing. Crazy Raccoons just dominated that. That's 4 alive.
The fact that they recovered that, and again, the timing is absolutely heartbreaking for Medusa, because he gets a ping on the recon bow, and that's when he's like, oh yeah, actually they're in B main. As soon as that ping comes through, V1 timed that peak so well. Somehow, I don't know how Rion wins that in spawn, but he did. At that point, things just go from bad to worse. I mean, Neff finds another 2 kills, I guess on the back of 2 individual peaks coming somewhere on B site. But that looked like it was V1's to take with the first blood.
Yeah, 100%. Now, think about what this does to the money. This kind of offsets how the round should go, technically. As we're back all even, this buy is substantially favorable towards the Crazy Raccoons, but V1 could still do some damage here. However, we said this map would be that litmus test. This is generally considered a favorable map for the Crazy Raccoons. You can see as to why Ryan is just mopping it up, making it look real simple. And I promise you, it's not. But at this point, we kind of came to this going, okay, V1, this isn't the best map for them, historically, but again, they are playing against normally very, very high-tier teams. Now, Crazy Raccoons, we don't know what to make of that region yet, so again, it kind of put it into that question. This could be a really telling sign of where this map sits, because again, a good map for Crazy Raccoons, a middle map for V1, but looking at the scoreline, this looks like the Crazy Raccoons have a great approach to it so far. Now, this is early in the second half, so let's not get too excited by it just yet, but Jammy's going to take some free space here. If he gets this, this could open up so much room for rotation. He's going to hear the steps towards CT. He's done his job here to maybe allow some room short, but Munchkin says
30 seconds left. Down, flawless.
Yeah, I like the idea behind that. Jammy's trying to pull as many bodies off A as possible. Unfortunately, not able to find anything elsewhere on short. Crazy Raccoons actually pull ahead here. Find themselves in an 8-7 situation here, and this is when you start getting a little bit worried.
Or a little excited if you like upsets, and that's something I'm always down for. Or just to see V1 pushed. I want to see how far these guys can go now. And the purchase here is going to be kind of that elongated bonus round, I guess. It's a little bit deeper into where it should be, technically, but as it stands, 8-7, Crazy Raccoon's in the lead now. And yes, this buy is going to be the SMGs, the leftovers from the previous, and of course up against rifles. V1 should, just off pure pound-for-pound firepower, should have a good shot at this. I think Medusa just caught a glimpse of Penny. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Gonna fall away from that, give him a little bit of room, respect it, but trying to maybe find angles that work against these rifles.
Continue to push forward. Medusa now, as I said, already spotted it out. He just needs to play contact here with the Spectre again.
Joke's over.
So he comes through. Zelsa's actually going to pop his ultimate, clear all the way through market. With that early information, nobody actually lent towards B site. It's just Neth and Medusa here. Now we're going to see the rotation come through. Zelsa's still isolated after the reset on his ultimate. Might actually get caught out here from short, and he will.
So much pressure. So much pressure on just one man. That is a rifle recovered, I guess, and if they could then maybe pin a little bit more pressure towards Vanity, that would be impressive, but I want to see what they try and do with this. Crazy Raccoons are really, really hammering this one in, but it's going to be that final push towards the site that's going to be tough against the rifles. Vanity's still going to be a problem to get past as well. They're going to try and at least put some utility down to dissuade the vision, but as it stands, as soon as that drops, he's going to have full sight on all of them who just suddenly start pouring back through. There he is, actually plays through it and gives himself up for the trade. It's a 3v3. Time going to be... No way.
Oh, no.
No, not like this. Penny, Jammies, please. What is going on here? Keep it clean. There we go. Jammies just says, chill out, boys. No more of this nonsense. We're keeping this clean. Can we keep these rifles up? Absolutely, we can keep one. That's what you get away with, but you do get the round, but you keep one of those rifles.
Yeah, it cost them nearly everything. We already said that was on the back of really just Spectres carried through from the Crazy Raccoons in that round. So we'll say yes, the round win goes in V1's favor, but that's a big win for Crazy Raccoons. Yeah, I'd say
Enemy remaining.
a nice closeout from Jammies actually. It's a couple of confidence builders there for him to get on the board. A nice 3-piece to close it out. 8-8 the scoreline now. Couple of online, couple of ultimates coming online actually. Crazy Raccoon's here. Penny gonna pop his Blade Storm off the rip as well.
And this is the thing. After the previous round, the amount of damage that the Crazy Raccoons did was incredibly impressive. They have rifles down, they've got the op out, they actually have, I'd say, the lead in the economy, but we have to see what they can do now on the buy. Zelt's going to come in and find Ryan, but the quick trade out for Zephyr. The spike is going to go down. You see Penny just on full guard duty here. This is a really fast side take coming out from V1. This retake, though, we've got to see what the Crazy Raccoons look like when they're going to be forced.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Again, that paint shell could have given them so much time to get this retake started nice and early. This Fury now in response. Again, Effie's knows that they're going to be re-entering back through heaven. Again, very late in the day here. Crazy Raccoon's got to move quick and find some kills fast if they want to get this going.
I don't think they've got time on this. I think V1 knows it as well. The Crazy Raccoon's going to drop down. Neth going to give himself up for the trade. Yeah, Penny's just making light work of him. Medusa does well, but by now this is wrapped up. Medusa just going to have to get out with the rifle himself. A lovely sight take from V1. Very well handled and no opportunity for that play back in. Or excuse me, the retake from Crazy Raccoons never really got started. They were never able to get back in. The combination of the utility was too good there from V1, but... And again, that nade didn't help, obviously.
Yeah, I was going to say, the paint shell not going through just meant that they had to fall back so deep into spawn to allow this all to happen. Well played by Penny, actually, all the way from, I'd say, in hell there to deal with the first two that drops down. And it's just too late in the day for Crazy Raccoons to get anything going. But, I mean, didn't invest in anything. Net one away from his ultimate. Munchkin one off the showstopper. And Rion, Medusa, and Zephyr all got their ultimates available as well. Zephyr's actually going to pop his Blade Storm at the start of the round. Aldrone going to come through. Now, no teammate there to deal with it. Somehow still crosses amidst all the spam that comes through from V1. 4 members of V1 actually in mid, posted on the archway.
It's like a hunting pack of players. They're just staying as 4. Off the back of the flash from Zelst is going to take short, but waiting on the other side. You're going to have 2 players here. Munchkin's going to be one of them. Couldn't quite convert it. Effie's outdoes him, just going to barrel on through. And now there's problems. Ryan, though. This flank could be huge. The timing, no! Effie's punishes again! Ryan could have done some real damage. You see Zephyr just chomping at the bit, trying to get involved in this one. Spike now down. And Jammy's play back in on short is perfectly timed, almost going, well, you did this to us, so we're going to do it to you. You like that late kind of short play coming out? Yeah, feels bad, doesn't it? And now what do the last 2 players do? Neth and Zephyr, I mean, they can try and find something, but just swinging off the back of contact here should at least give them the round. There's the trade, and now you got the numbers. Unless Zephyr does something unthinkable. Oh, he's been caught in the heels, spammed down. Effie's with a big round there.
Yeah, really, really well played from him. And again, on the back of Rion, able to slip into a position where ultimately he could have punished that entire push through. I think actually did a lot of damage to Effie's initially. I'm not sure who the second player that actually peaks. He comes through here and it's actually Effie's getting shot in the back. He comes back and deals with it, but the Cosmic Divide just, again, have to respect it. They have to play deep enough. They can't really dip back in there, and it allows Version 1 to deal with everybody that's outside of heaven, right? Everything that's on shore and basically down on site itself. They're giving them total control.
Medusa, this could be huge, but there's going to be utility to check on this.
Wow, you say that.
Here we go, there it is. That's going to be 2 big kills. That's massive impact. That does set up for a potential chance of some more damage. Neth waiting patiently, just hoping that maybe a lapse in judgment gives him the chance to get some damage done, but Jammy's on the other side. Gonna just kind of keep that idea that they're coming this way, building in the back of their minds, and there it is. Again, more utility being thrown in, but Neth yet to be checked on. Boombot comes out. Again, nothing wild just yet. But you're gonna see a little bit of a second of consideration from V1 now, backing away from this.
You're gonna drift towards shore, which is where Zephyr's actually posted up with a shorty right now. Rion a little further behind him with the Sheriff now.
I like it.
30 seconds.
Let's go. One's good. Two spinners,
Oh my
Zephyr!
word.
Down A.
Impeccable work out of nowhere, and this is going to rock V1. They are not loving this at all. These rifles have now just been absolutely ripped from them, and a massive round for the Crazy Raccoons. Look at that! What on earth did they just pull off?
They literally get 4 weapon upgrades out of that as well on the back of what, 2 sheriffs, a shorty, and I think a frenzy was that?
No way.
Something like that at least. Barely any investment, and they turn that round in their favor. Sorry to judge as well. One I missed at the start. Again, just something simple, playing off the turret's contact here. Jammies ultimately
The
trades
second
that.
dude.
That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful from Zephyr.
There.
That is so good.
There.
9-10. Game back on for the Crazy Raccoons. They've got to keep this up, though. They've broken the back of the money from V1 on this. Their economy's in pieces. That's great work. They've been able to just kind of filter up all those rifles they've collected. Oh, amazing stuff. Zephyr just holding a bit of a dirty angle to try and play with. Gonna have to force his way out of this, but V1 will at least get towards taking the site here, actually.
So, else is going to clear out a lot of this space, and Jammy's also there as well. One player actually noted very deep
Planted.
on short. No damage done on the way through. Now, Crazy Raccoons have a lot to work with on this retake if they want to invest.
There we go. There's the first big investment in here. We go. Everyone's flying in now. You can see Munchkin just spinning around. Somehow finds it. That's 3 in a row. These guys just popped off on the retake. In the space of a second, they destroy so many, but Jammies is still doing damage. Even the turret finds Munchkin, but the spike now going toyed with. Jammies doesn't check on short. Punishment for that. And Effie's can't get in on it.
Retake.
Huge retake.
Like I said, they actually had a lot to invest, and it's the lockdown and Munchkin just absolutely exploding with the showstopper. And like you said, so quickly, they destroy 3 members of version 1. And that post plant holds. Blown wide open. Oh, you gotta watch that one again. Thank God it's in slow-mo.
Give me the
How
slow-mo,
quick this
okay.
comes through. It's beautiful, the second kill.
Dude, I'm pretty sure I missed the first kill. It literally, How are these guys so good? This is so sick. 10-10, this is all tied up, all even. Back on the bye now. Crazy Raccoons are turning up here. I don't think we put them as being, like, maybe upset potential, sure, but, like, this is scary now. And, of course, we do have Zephyr this time on the op. Gonna have a little look towards short, but utility gonna hinder vision, so has to back away. Looks like a default from V1 to begin with. Not too much of a lean either way.
Take flight.
Initially, no presence shown anywhere from version 1. Other than this owl drone coming through, and actually only spotting 1 member. I don't think it noted Neth, who was playing very, very close in market. On the back of that, V1 actually lead
Why,
all
he's
the
so
way
good
towards
here,
short.
dude.
Rion,
No.
they line up for him.
He's so good in this position as well. He's been such a nuisance playing this spot constantly. And be able to get 2 there again? This time with a rifle at least, but Zelst is going to deal with Munchkin, so they know there's another. But Zephyr's still waiting for the next fall through as they do come towards the site. You could hear the shot go off. Didn't find target, has to fall away to a deeper angle. No, sticks around and gets punished for that. Jammy's not going to let him get away with it. And now a 3v3 spike is going down, can't be denied. Now let's look at these post plants. You're going to have 1 tucked towards hell, 1 towards May. Actually, no, 2 in hell. Okay.
You should run.
Actually, yeah, Jammy's going to invest the lockdown as well. That's going to run the clock down in favor of actually. The Zelsis gets a lot of pressure here, but have to respect it for the time being. Zelsis, can he find that second? Not going to get detained just yet, but Zelsis still able to run the clock down. Finds the 3rd on the round now, just down to Neth.
Yeah, Neth's not going to wait around, and Zelsis just playing those 1v1 so perfectly. Able to slice and dice them up into just manageable scenarios. Really well done to Zelsis in that, to stay cool under pressure. And again, I was surprised they didn't go for more of an effective trade, but they seem super paranoid about the main player as well, which is pretty reasonable, but very well done to Zelsis.
Just, again, like you said, and actually the double peak is perfect from version 1, but fortunately just
Enemy remaining.
line up and Rion's in the right spot at the right time to greet
There
both
can
of them.
only
And
be one.
you said it. I mean, dealing with Rion and Shaw has been a real issue for version 1. He's able to play so deep, and again, it's not on the back of anything really put together on the side of Crazy Raccoons. It's Rion just being on point with his shots and timing things perfectly.
Okay, tactical timeout time. And again, money-wise, you got to make this one count, right? Like, that's the thing. Now, Zephyr, yeah, he can get his ult and just play with that, but they're sitting now on, what, 2.6, 1.7, 2.2, and 6 after the investment, so they can't really be handling much of a loss on this. Both teams kind of towards the end of it, so V1, yeah, they're on 11, but this is pressure time.
It is indeed, and again, lots of positives to take away here from Crazy Raccoons. I mean, I'm with you. They've stepped up in a big way, and again, talked about this being an opportunity, really, for them to I guess, stamp their impression on Masters too, right? What do they bring to the table here? And so far, I'm very impressed. Munchkin has been an absolute delight to watch so far.
Yeah, he's the one who stood out in. If you watched over their games prior to now, I think a couple of his approaches to the game were pretty notable. My literal note is Munchkin nuts on Sky. So the guy clearly has a great deal of ability, but just seeing the whole collective come through for the Crazy Raccoons is massive. But the thing is that as much as I'm just worried it's going to get to the end here, and V1 are going to win potentially if they convert this round. And you know, the scoreline, people forget how close this game potentially was, because this has been a real push from a side that I don't think many people would have imagined would have been able to go this far already. Like, the way they've approached this is phenomenal. So I just want to see more from them. So I almost hope they convert this round just so we have a further pushed game. So already Munchkin could be the one to be trying to get that first contact over towards A, but falls away from this. That was an all-in piece. They do send Vanity back to kind of maybe check on if there's any nonsense going on elsewhere.
Joke's over! You're dead!
Gonna come through, try and brute force their way on. Actually, Zelsis and Penny will lead the charge. Munchkin didn't deal with the first. Zelsis will find one, and actually that runs down now. The damage is done, though. Comes through a 3v3. Great work from Munchkin.
Yeah, his ability to stay alive even just a couple seconds longer, get that second kill, is brilliant from him. Zelsis, though, going to try and build a little control towards short, divide it his own way. Now, Vanity going to watch as one dashes on through, but Zelsis finds Neth, and already we're down to the 2. This is going to be Zephyr having to be put under pressure, and this is not exactly ideal. Having to find it, no. Effie's big denial. Good trade, though. That's huge work, but it doesn't equate to much, as the conversion in the end comes from Zelsis in great positioning, working his way around to secure the round, and it is now 12 on the board. In the final throws, it looks like maybe just the Crazy Raccoons have run out of steam here.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I mean, great work from Zelsis, thinking on his feet there to push all the way through. That pinch from heaven, perfectly timed. Actually on the back of almost things turning back in Crazy Raccoon's favor, right? Bo's kills on site go to them. Looking at the purchase, it's actually not as good as I was expecting. I mean, 2 judges on the board, no ultimates available. Munchkin one off the showstopper, so expect him to throw that in the mix. Should it come online? Once again, version 1 going to come up. Penny actually based on popped, and it's Rion again that's going to be pressured off short. This time around, Effie's the Hunter's Fury from deep going to find the kill to open things up.
And Rion gone. This isolates him so badly. Yeah, you can see it just instantly makes it all fall to pieces, and Zelsis has been a constant thorn in the side, and Munchkin can try as he might. He needs to truly dig deep on this one. Does at least bail out towards Penny, but now look at what they're left with. Neth and Munchkin. Munchkin 13 HP. Neth, though, good work. Quick pick up towards Vanity. And Munchkin's heard this. But he can't get the frag. Jammies outdoes him. And now Neth with it all to do in the 1v2. Gonna leap on down. Actually gets a free start towards Effie's. This could be big, but the time being bought here. Neth knows he's up against it, just trying to find the first. This is just cruelty, but no, punished in the end, and Neth now has to get rid of
Jammies is so low, look at him.
Jammies is super low HP. The turret ain't gonna do anything at this point. You gotta deal with it. Oh my word, Neth! Impeccable work, saves the day, and we go again.
I had to focus for a second.
Insane round from Neth, the Red Bull clutch to put them back in touching distance, 1 round away from forcing overtime here. What a round. That was so back and forth there. I mean, it's heartbreaking. Jammies is so low that he has to peek onto the turret. Luckily, I mean, deals with that, but a crazy, crazy round back and forth. Like I said, Munchkin finds this first one as soon as the showstopper's online. Happy to throw this in the mix. 13 HP and loses out the 1v1 versus Jammies, though. That's the thing. He was ready. He was anticipating that lurk. But Neff coming through when it matters.
The buy, both of these teams, they're on such a poor point for the economy. You've got two Bulldogs, a Judge there for Neff. On the other side, a Spectre, two Spectres, excuse me. So
I have the spike.
neither team in the perfect position on this one. Now, what do they do with this? V1, where are you going to take this? If you head towards B, Medusa's there, Munchkin is there, and out of all the players, I'd probably avoid Munchkin if I could, but timing's going to be the factor now.
Slow round. Actually, Neff having the lockdown online in this round. Again, when you know Version 1 are going to be treading very cautiously. Could be a big playmaker. Trying to get something done off this utility in B main. They will clean it though. They're just going to retrieve the orb. A little bit of damage coming through, but nothing noteworthy.
I thought there'd be substantially more than that. Zelsis in a little bit of bother here. Munchkin's going to make it worse towards Penny. That's going to be the first pick up this round. And they're going to peel from this. They're backing.
This 20 seconds. This is dicey to say
Wait,
the
who's
least.
on short? Who is on short right now?
It's Neff with utility.
Oh no, Neth's gonna buy the time. This could be a huge disaster if he just buys the time. Vanity does get past him. Munchkin on the side just wants to try and deny the spike bomb, but no, Effie's
No
runs
way.
through him. Is this how it goes down, really? A 2v3 post-plant now. And you got Medusa and Zeph up against Jammy, Zelsis, and Effie's. This is a fight for OT for the Crazy Raccoons, or the victory on map 1 for V1. And Zephyr flashed up, forced to back away, scared of maybe some pressure coming off the back of it, but no, Medusa now opens up the way through on short. Just trying to build on in. First fight comes in, gets it. Effie's now down. Zels is looking a little dicey on the side, but he does manage to deliver towards Zephyr, and now the 1v2 feels almost impossible. Medusa doing everything he can to try and find a way forward. Gets down Zelsis. He needs to 1v1, and Jammies is low again. Surely not this time. He's going to get it to halfway.
way.
No. Jammies peek it. Jammies peek it. Oh, and he does in time. Jammies peeks the corner and gets them through on map 1.
What a finish. I mean, at that point, I honestly thought it was going to come through. Once again, Jammy's so low on HP. He's got to respect the position that he's put in there. But, I mean, what a finish. Crazy Raccoons massively impressing me here. That final round, Neth, is so unfortunate. It's the one agent you want in that position that can slow down that rotation from version 1. 20 seconds left on the clock. He's got the lockdown. If anything, I'd say play a little deeper. Just wait for that. Actually, Jammies comes through, catches sight of it being stuck there. Manages to full swing onto it, but version 1 close things out in a very, very hard fought map 1 here on Ascent.
That was a great map 1. And for version 1, if I'm them, that's a sigh of relief to get out of that game with a win. I thought that was OT. That rotation coming back in through middle, I thought that was OT all day long, but it wasn't. They managed to convert when it mattered, but the Crazy Raccoons are the real deal, it looks like. Now this opens up things towards Icebox potentially, which would be map 2. In just a moment's time, we'll get there, but this was meant to be the telling sign of the difference in skill, right? This is meant to be statistically quite a good map for the Crazy Raccoons, and not necessarily a middling map for version 1, but a decent map, not one of their best. So already, these two are well matched together, I feel, Hypok.
Yeah, and I think actually coming into this match in terms of what we were expecting and which way we're really going to call this, Crazy Raccoons have over-delivered massively.
Absolutely.
For me, you know, version 1 in this, especially in early on in this series, if it does go the distance, I mean, version 1 are looking for those confidence boosters, right, to get themselves on the board, get the ball rolling, in terms of the problems they've had to deal with now coming away from qualification into this event. And that right there is not at all how you'd want version 1 to be closing it out, but a win's a win nonetheless. Put that behind them, mental reset coming into map 2.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to head to in a moment, just after the break. So guys, do stick around, don't go too far away. Icebox will be on the horizon, and we'll be seeing you in just a moment's time for that.